We're going to go ahead and create our template, but first we need to kind of organize and do some file management. So last video I created the fall assignments and an assign one. And since I had a few issues with the solid bodies, I'm going to revisit that in the drawing template. So for our system files, I have, well, a lot of residual from the last however many semesters. So I'm going to stay with the naming convention of the SOLIDWORKS 2022, SW 2022 system or system files. And the reason I'm putting this on a cloud drive, my Maricopa EDU location, it could be OneDrive, it could be Dropbox, um, whatever you have available. If you signed up for a Gmail account, you get what is it, 5 gig of usable. So I was going to check that. Okay, we'll go with the Gmail, and the Google Drive gives you 15 gig. So we're going to have plenty of room to store our files. Let's see, where did it put it at the very end? Oh, I can't type, so I need to do a rename. Right click, rename, get rid of that, put the space in there. All right, so now I have a location. It's on the cloud. I'm going to be able to access that. I'm also going to be able to access my assignments. Even if it's through the browser interface, at least we have that connectivity. So I'm going to start with the new part. And one of the things, I have this SW templates that I've created previously. If we always go back to the default template, then we're starting at that same point. We have kind of a common jumping off place. So there are things that are global, and then there's things that are document level. So the first one is always, I want to show the origin, and I'm going to be an isometric view. So I'm going to do a Control-7 or the space bar and click on isometric. And that just gives you, so you know you're starting from. One of the things that when you select the sketch and you go and have all those pop up, it's not as convenient if you're looking in the front plane or the top plane and trying to manage those. So the couple of things that should stay on the general. Previously, we've for 2022, I'm going to go ahead and say create the configuration tables. We'll use that later. Enable the confirmation corner, auto show the property manager. Depends on what I'm doing, but auto size is probably a good place to start and stay with. All right, so the mark all parts assembly dimensions import into drawings by default. Basically, we can import all dimensions, and if they're all marked, we'll import all of them. So that's always been a logical issue for me. So if that one's checked, unchecked it, and we'll deal with it a little bit later on the part the drawing side. Again, with the colors, my selected item is magenta. It's a little bit that kind of gray blue, a little bit better. Auto rotate, yes. And then the view, if you need to reverse the mouse wheel. This is going to be an inch template, so if we go over to document properties, this is really where we're going to be driving a lot of this template from. So the overall drafting standard is ISO if you'd rather be an ANSI. I kind of like ISO for the organization of the dimensions. I loaded it sometime in the past and left it and haven't really changed it. So when I need ANSI, I switch over to it, but you can go with either one. It's just going to look a little bit different. Nothing on the grids. Okay, so in the units we're in inch, pounds, and seconds. I would like that to be to 3 decimal places, and then it becomes an ISO modified. If we wanted to save that to our system files, we would go back up here to the drafting standard and save to external, and then we could load from external if it's on another computer, have those same settings in our user for the drafting standard. Quality, Not seeing anything in those. Pretty much in this one, until we get into the detailing, the dimensions, doing a little bit more with uh, our geometry. Make sure the shaded cosmetic threads, depending on your video card, the shaded cosmetic threads a lot of times just end up being basic black. So we go ahead and set that. I'm in inch, pounds, and seconds. Let's see, we're in the features. Again, instant 3D. These are probably more global settings. They should be from session to session, but go ahead and make sure that's turned off. Can't say it enough that instant 3D, instant 2D, and rapid sketch, if you're not sure what's going on, that those can throw things at you that are not real convenient at this point. So if we do a save as, then this is going to go to the SolidWorks templates, and let's see, they organized it a little bit. I'm looking right at it. Part templates, there we go. PRT DOT, it defaults, and this is how far we have to go down. Now, program data, I believe, is one of the system hidden files, so if it is not showing up, that's kind of the issue for us to go ahead and put it into the system. On my quick access, the 2021 is there, but I haven't done anything with 2022. I'm inside SolidWorks, so there's some things that it will let me do and some other things that it won't. But while I'm here, I'll go ahead and right click and pin to, so that one is there. We're going to put that in, and then this is going to become my part inch, and you can denote it any way you like. Also, we'll probably go in and just make one for templates, because as we accumulate, and need to name it a little bit better, 2022 templates, so it's going to show up in that open and be able to tell which one it is, and save. And then my screen capture is doing whatever again, so we'll click on it so it clears the taskbar. All right, so going back into the units, I can go to millimeters, grams, and seconds. My millimeters can be in 2 decimal places, which is still pretty tight, but usable. And I'm going to switch these over, my dual dimension, to inches, and the decimals to 3 decimal places. So, okay. All right, and we can get to that either by going into the options on the gear, document properties, units, and adjusting those to the whichever unit system, or probably the quickest is this little pull up, the little pop up at the bottom. So one more save as, and we're going to go find the PRT DOT again. It went right back to program data, which is not surprising. And oh yeah, I added it, so we can go there, put it into the templates. Now this isn't going to show up until I add it to my list in the folder options. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So I really just want to close this right now, because anything I draw in here, anything I create, is going to get saved with that template. All right, so we need a file location. So back into the options, into the file location, I have the document templates I'm going to add. Let's see, that jumped up on my other screen for some reason, so let's fly that guy in. And it went to the templates, to the system, to the templates, select the folder, and then sometimes it needs to elevate, do whatever it's going to do. So, okay, and yes, and if you are not an administrator, then it may do it a couple of times, then there's reasons why you wouldn't want to write it to the program data. So if we go back into, I believe it's the video, you can, on this bar across the top, select the the hidden items, And we'll go back in. I need to see my C drive. All right, so program data kind of has that faded look to it. That is your hidden file. So if I uncheck that, you're not going to see program data in some of those. So the warning is don't mess with those. But if you do need to tunnel down to programs, SolidWorks, previous versions, and leftovers from the items I've installed, things like the design library are and the default templates, the model-based definition, and the standard templates are in there. All right, so also on depending on your IT and who is going to allow you to do what, you may not have permission levels or access to those items. So the check then is we go into the 2022 templates. There is my part inch. There is my part metric. I double click on it, and the check is I have my origin. Still don't know why the screen capture does that. IP inch, pounds, and seconds. If we go into the units, and I'm at 3 decimal places, and for some reason it cycles through. Occasionally it'll read 3 but only show 2, and there's not sure where that disconnect is. All right, so let's go ahead and finish it here, and then we'll